Happy Friday, DockHound fans. Dominic Stern and Jack Jennings. Jack, I'm not quite exactly sure how to describe your role, but you work closely with DockHounds owner Tom Kelnick. You're a part of the team constructors here at the Lake Country DockHounds. How is it working with Tom?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, he's been so helpful ever since I've been on, and it's been great walking in the building and honestly having someone who trusts what I'm saying from day one. And honestly, the same goes for the coaching staff. Reggie, Huck, Wags, Brandon, all those guys have we've really worked collaboratively throughout the season, and it's been great working with all of them. They're all great baseball minds, so it's been good working alongside them.
And so, with all the other interviews I've done, you can look up the players on Baseball Reference. Jack Jennings does not have a Baseball Reference page. You went to Florida State, studied sports management as well as business. What was your time like in Tallahassee, Florida?
It was great. It was definitely, I was born in Florida and then moved around a little bit. So it was great to go back to Florida. It felt like coming home for a little bit. And, I've been up here for the last 12, 13 years. So it was great to get that change of pace. And, it was great meeting a lot of the athletics staff over at Florida State and just going through all the classes and, learned a lot. It was a great experience down there.
And so there's a last day and a last game in baseball for everyone. And then, like myself, I've picked this path of broadcasting. The players out here are still fortunate enough to be playing. Players can then turn into coaches and whatnot. What made you choose this baseball background?
Well, I think it started from a very early age. My parents really got me into baseball. I was brought to my first Rays game when I was 6 months old, so I like to say, before I even knew what was going on, baseball was a part of me. So, but yeah, I've played baseball since I was really young. Always been around the game in some kind of capacity, whether playing, working for a team, pretty much all aspects. And then kind of in my role, I think I've known this for a long time, that this is something that I really want to pursue.
And I don't think people understand how hard you and Tom work. There's been a lot of turnover with this roster. It's night and day, the amount of talent that's on this team compared to now and at the beginning of the season. That's no disrespect to any of the players that were on this team. There are a lot of guys on this current roster with some big league experience, made it up to AAA or AA, when some of the guys that were on the team earlier had league statuses that were higher than some of the other guys, but had never been in affiliate ball and got up to a higher level. So how hard have you and Tom worked, as we have some more flies here at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park, but how hard have you and Tom worked, as well as everybody in this DockHounds organization, to get the product on the field to where it is now?
I mean, we've worked tirelessly, and first of all, for all the 40-something guys who have come in the building, we appreciate all of their efforts and everything they've given to this organization throughout this season. Obviously, they were an expansion team last year. It was tough starting from the ground, essentially. So, and Tom and I personally, we want to win every day. And, from the first second I stepped in here, it was all about, I want to win a championship, and we're going to do whatever we can do to get to that spot. So, it was hard at the beginning. Obviously, you start from ground zero, so recruiting is pretty tough. You have nothing to fall back on. You can't say we have this sustained success that other teams in this league just do have, and they have that storied history. So it just meant that Tom and I had to work twice as hard, and that comes with recruiting, comes with calling agents, really going after everyone, never not turning over any stone. It's checking every release, reaching out to every guy who we think could be a part of this culture and this team. Obviously we think that this team that we have on the field today is very, very close to a championship caliber team. And, we think that these guys in the building are ready, then they're excited, and, we feel good about where we felt 17 games in, where we were 4-13 versus now where, we have a chance to break 500, and I feel very confident going into the playoffs if we are fortunate enough to grab a spot.
Yeah, and you talked about it. This team was 4-13, obviously back-to-back winning months. A good start in August, already winning the series against the Milwaukee Milkmen. What can this team accomplish in August and potentially in September?
I think the sky's the limit for this team. Honestly, if you're in the area and you haven't seen the DockHounds, come out and watch this team, because I think you're going to see an offense like very few teams put together. I say that from 1 to 9, guys are able to hit, and they're able to hit the ball out of the park. Our new guys, Steven Sensley and Curtis Terry, they're great power threats. They're, veterans who are able to come in here, and we feel very confident every night setting out the lineup that we have. And, we face a lot of good pitchers in this league, but, we come in every night expecting to score and wanting to score a lot. And, obviously we have a lot of talented pitchers on this team, but, we're facing a lot of good offenses as well. So, our focus was we need to back up the pitching staff every night, no matter what. And that took getting 9 guys, 10 guys in here who are ready to hit every night. And, 1 through 12, everyone who, is rotating into spots, we feel that, every one of those guys is a threat coming up to the plate.
And the offense is showing that against the Milkmen, who, despite the fact that they had a terrific hitting month, they're a pitching-centric team. And
absolutely
just dominated them offensively over the course of this series. Curtis Terry was hitting 8th last night. That's how deep this DockHounds lineup is. He came over with Steven Sensley as well as David Richardson in that trade with the Gastonia Honey Hunters in the Atlantic League. And now that you were kind of the engine behind that trade, what did you identify in that trade that made those 3 guys appetizing to you?
Yeah, so I got to know their general manager, Brady Salisbury, very well over the past few months. Great baseball mind working over there in Gastonia. He's done a great job with that team. And it came about when obviously we were losing Nick Banks at the All-Star break. Hope he's doing well. But we needed to fill our corner outfield spot. And first name that we got to was Steven Sensley. And so I talked to Brady a lot about bringing Steven in here. It took a couple weeks of negotiations and just kind of seeing where both teams were at. And then kind of at the last second, we started to think about expanding the deal, and we wanted to add more in. And I saw an opportunity to add not only an experienced pitcher in David, but also 2 viable power threats that, every night you have guys who are going to hit, 2-3 hits, get on base. You look at what Blake and Marcus and, Demetrius and all these guys are able to do. So we knew once that we got some power in the building and really round out the lineup that we would have probably, if not the most potent offense in the league.
We got a couple more pitchers in on the way. Not going to give away anything on that front. But, Jack, you've done a tremendous job. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get to continue watching the DockHounds win some more. And first pitch is coming up just a moment, 6:35 against the Lincoln Salt Dogs.